Self-funded search is better than funded search, and here's the reason why. When you're entrepreneurial enough to go endeavor to buy a business, you're doing it because you want to get back control of your life. You want to be able to work where you want to work, how you want to work, with the people you want to work with. And self-funded allows you to make all those decisions yourself. When you're funded, what happens is because you have investors that are covering your salary, because you have advisors that have a particular point of view on what they want to invest in and a veto right if they don't want to invest in it, you end up giving up a lot of control, and a lot of downstream things that you don't consider important now are majorly mission critical important, but you give up that autonomy when you take the funding. And so for me, a self-funded search is a sovereign search, is a search by an individual that can do anything they want. You can put things together however you want. And that's why it's so much better, because you have just tremendous flexibility and tremendous independence, and those things matter in acquisition. Let's talk about the differences between funded and self-funded search. On the funded side, you get some of the risk taken off the table because your investors are paying for 2 years of your salary and 2 years of budget for due diligence, for lawyers, for trips, and all of that. What do you give up for that? You give up for that. You have to do a nationwide search. You have a board of advisors that are going to tell you what deals you can and cannot do. You're forced to do high growth deals that have very high volatility. And you're forced to opt into a vesting structure that is highly beneficial to the investors and only partially beneficial to you. So that's the funded side. On the self-funded side, it's not the top 10 or 20 business schools, it's anybody. And I can tell you anybody because anybody has been in my client base over the past 5 years, and everybody has gotten deals done. So you can be anywhere, get up off the couch and be a self-funded searcher. Because you are funding your own salary, you get to make all the choices yourself. You can say, hey, I only want to go within 45 minutes of my front door. My family is situated. I don't want to move them. You can say, I want to do low growth businesses with low volatility because I don't want to be in something that's all wavy. I want steady cash flow. You can go deal with the banks and the investors you want to deal with and switch them out at will. And one of my favorites is you can choose to buy a business that you don't have to run. So you can buy a business that has a general manager in it, or hire a general manager so you don't have to be running it. Whereas on the funded side, fundamentally, you have to be the person running the business. So on the self-funded side, if you're able to fund yourself, you get all these areas of control. And that allows you to take advantage of some deals that might not need any equity, all debt, some deals that are close to your house so people would think you're biased, and a bunch of other things. So that's the big difference. Sorry for the interruption, guys, but I want to tell you about a limited opportunity to really dig into the topics that I cover on this channel. So I have a mastermind that has a limited capacity, 10 people at any given point. And I want you to go to my website and check it out and see what we offer in that. But really what we're offering is the ability for you to go from knowledgeable from the videos to executing when we finish with the mastermind. And so sorry for the interruption, but I really wanted those who really want to take the next step to have the ability to do so. So check it out on my website. So on the funded side, I know dozens of people that have been CEOs of fast growing companies, gone through hellacious work for 3, 5, 10 years, and the payoffs have gone all across the gamut, right? But you're guaranteed to have sort of 5 to 10 hard years of running a business. On the self-funded side, I have worked with clients who are still working their day jobs after they bought a $2 or $3 or $4 million business. I know people that bought businesses they have been working in for 5, 10 years. So think about how much diligence they were able to do over those 5 or 10 years already being in the company. On the self-funded side, I have clients that have bought a business, moved their family outside of the country, put general managers into the company so that they don't have to manage them, and essentially created a semi-passive income source because they had all those degrees of freedom to make it what they wanted. And so that's why the independence matters. You can't get some of these outcomes on the self-funded side on the funded side. So why is funded so popular? Well, who doesn't want to have a sure salary for 2 years? Who doesn't want to be given a budget for due diligence, right? I understand it. There's a huge motivation to do that. The problem is where you may be sitting from a cash position today doesn't allow you to necessarily see 5, 10 years in the future. And so you're giving up tremendous upside today for a couple $100,000 when you're playing a $5, $10 million game. And so really funded is so popular because it takes the risk out of the process. And let's be honest, a lot of MBAs at these top 20 schools are not people that like risk. We think of them as business superstars, but those places are meant to put people at the top companies in stable jobs and careers that will last forever. A lot of my self-funded clients are in blue-collar jobs, have jumped around jobs, so they've already dealt with risk, so they don't have to think about risk in the same way some of the MBAs do. So the funded gives you something at the beginning, and we all know what that means. That means that somebody's taking something on the back. And I'll tell you that there are dozens of stories that you may not hear, but I have from my Harvard Business School classmates, from people I know in the industry, where they gave up all that stuff just to find out that their investors weren't going to fund their deal or weren't going to fund it in the way that they said they would. And now you spent 2 years with the salary, didn't close a deal, have very few options. And so you're stuck in ways you don't understand at the beginning. And let's keep it real. If you didn't go to a Harvard, Stanford, Yale, top 20 business school, if you don't have that Wall Street pedigree, not only is it your best option, it's your only option. And so you need to just sort of zone in on this is the way to business acquisition. Business acquisition is the way to wealth. And so when I talk about self-funded being the way, it's because I'm talking to everybody who has the potential to buy a business. And for the everybody crowd, for you, the self-funded route for sure gives you the opportunity to do a deal. The funded folks are only a very small percentage of the people that can execute. So self-funded is the way to go, and these are the reasons why. So I'm calling them to action to subscribe. I'm calling them to action to go to my website. If you've listened to me thus far, you must be interested in self-funded search. So let's just talk about it. I have the only channel dedicated to self-funded search. And so you should subscribe. I'm going to drop videos several times a week. I'm going to be open to feedback on videos that you want me to drop. There's a whole program that I have mastermind on delivering data to help you succeed. And so to get those videos, to get notifications on those videos, you should subscribe. And if you want more information, you should go to my website. But keep in mind, for this huge growing segment, this is the only place to get information dedicated to you. And so you should be a member of this community.